You want to be able to phrase on the guitar so that you're creating lines and ideas that are both memorable and melodic. There are some simple steps that you can take to make that happen, regardless if you're a beginner soloist or if you have more experience on the guitar. Today we'll cover some basic things to make sure that you can elevate your playing so that you can be able to play some meaningful and melodic solos without overthinking the music theory of it all. And by the end of this video lesson, you will be able to build phrases that are simple to play and will absolutely work for you every time. And by the way, if you're just getting started with soloing, make sure to download my Beginner Soloist Handbook. It contains scales and arpeggios and resources for you all in one place so that you can have them as a reference. The description down below contains the link. Guitar phrasing encompasses a lot of things. It could be note choice, it could be rhythmic ideas, or it could be how you play the notes with things such as slides or bends. Today, in order to keep things focused and simple, we are only going to look at the note choice aspect of phrasing. Now, when many guitarists solo, sometimes they're just using a scale and they meander through it hoping to find something that sounds good. You can stay in key that way, but it's really hard to play anything meaningful. One of the best things you can do to play something that sounds much more melodic is to play simple arpeggios as phrase builders. Let's take a look at how to do that. First, everything we're going to do today is in the key of A major. That means we will be using the A major scale notes to build our arpeggios. Also, the chords used in the backing track will be harmonized from the A major scale. Let's look at a 3-note per string A major scale. It looks like this. These are the notes in A major, and this scale shape gives us the roadmap so that we know where those notes lie on the fretboard. However, if we were to use this scale to try to solo over a backing track, it could sound very aimless, scalar, very random, and you would have to heavily rely on your ear to make sure that you're playing something that harmonizes nicely with the chords going by. It usually ends up sounding very scalar like this. Instead, what we want to do is phrase build by using simple arpeggios. An arpeggio is a broken chord or where you play the notes individually. So if I took an A major chord like this, for example, and I played the notes one by one, that's an arpeggio. We also don't want to be completely random with our arpeggios, meaning we need to know the chords in our backing track so that we can play the proper arpeggio over each chord. The track we're using today uses the A major and D major chords, or more specifically the A major 7 and D major 7, but we'll get into the 7ths a little bit later. For now, let's just call it A and D. So when the A chord plays, we want to use an A major arpeggio over that. When the D chord plays, we want to use a D major arpeggio over that chord. The A major chord is made up of the root, which is A, a third above that, a major third above it, which is C sharp, and then a fifth above the root, which is E. Those are the notes we want to target, but I don't want to play a big bar chord and pick individual notes like that like I did before. That doesn't make as much sense to phrase build. So let's simplify and let me show you the A major arpeggio and the D major arpeggio. A major looks like this: A, C sharp, E, and if you don't remember the notes, just get that pattern down. We're beginning on the root of the key, A. So A, C sharp, E. Now let's move on to the D major. Looks like this: D, F sharp, A. Same shape, but we started on the D note. And A. Right now, all we want to do is play through each of these arpeggios over the appropriate chord. So when A plays, we're going to play that first arpeggio. When D plays, we're going to play the second one. That's it. Let me demonstrate. Right away, these arpeggios are making us sound better because we are harmonizing with the chords underneath them. And when you harmonize with those chords, you're playing something that has meaning. It sounds so much better than just random notes. Now, of course, you can mix it up and you don't need to play starting on the root every time. You could start on the fifth. Whatever you want to do, but the point is, start with those because they are great phrase builders and you can go from there. Now, once you feel comfortable with those arpeggios and you feel like you really know them, now let's think back to our A major scale and remember how that looked. Keep that in mind. We're going to play the track again. I'm going to use these two arpeggios to phrase build and then just grab a couple of notes out of the A major scale. The cool thing about that is I was always keeping these arpeggios in mind, not only as phrase builders, but as landing spots too. So I maybe end a phrase on a note in the particular chord. But I also use the A major scale to grab some other notes and just experiment and improvise. But then I would come back to my arpeggio shapes because I know those are the strongest notes and I want to use those to really emphasize the chords going underneath. Now for those who want to go a little bit deeper, let's just add a seventh to each of these arpeggios. We would simply add a seventh from the root of each of the chords to make it into a major 7 chord. So in this case with A major, the major 7 is right here. On the D it's going to look like this, the same. And you can tell those arpeggios sound really good just on their own without a backing track. Now let's try these simple arpeggio shapes over the backing track and see if it helps us phrase build even more. Here, when I use the major 7s, that I slid into the octave, a note from my A major scale. I like sliding in and out of that octave, it's nice. Do it on the D major 7 as well. And I think one time I slid into the 9th. Right there. So you can add and subtract and layer your scale tones over there, whatever you want to do, but these are just fantastic phrase builders. They automatically make everything you play sound so much better because you're not sounding scalar anymore. You're using the notes from the chords, and it makes you sit back and listen to the music better because you want to play something even more meaningful. So it really does push you forward in your soloing. Now obviously you can do this with the other chords in a key if you're going to play over a backing track. If it's got minor chords in there, you can use minor arpeggios that are very, very similar. They look like this, or minor 7. And by the way, if you want to just grab the Beginner Soloist Handbook, which I have linked in the description below, that is a free download for you. It's a giant PDF file. Well, it's not giant, it's something like 25 pages or something, full of resources, and it includes a lot of these arpeggio shapes and scale shapes that you can use for this sort of practice. But the main point of this entire video is start to use very small arpeggio shapes like that and use them as a phrase builder. It's always going to work so much better than just randomly poking your way around a scale. So use them. Let me know in the comments down below how it works out for you. And if you enjoyed today's content, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you will. It really does help my channel. And if you'd like to support my channel, a great free way that you can do that is if you're already shopping for strings or guitars or anything musical, go through my Sweetwater affiliate links down below. There's a general link as well as a lot of specific links to the gear I use. Use those links and it won't cost you anything extra, but it will help support my channel in a small way. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.